Alright gang, so this is my episode 1 review of To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts, which was also Untitled on Crunchyroll. I don't know if that was the name of the episode, it just said Untitled, but, I liked it. I hate, typical war animes where it's just like, oh, I've got a gun, bang, 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 and this really set that up hard, and at first I was like, oh, come on, this is stupid. Then it happened. So, my initial thoughts on this anime are, it's gonna go one of two ways. It's gonna go either really, really good or really, really bad. And I'm gonna just review it. I think that it is going to go good, and I'm putting in the hope for it. It is on a Monday, so it's my typical day off, so it should be an easy review to get done regardless, and it's at 8 a.m., so you know, I can always just wake up and do it. But, where to begin with this? 1 minute, everything's going great. The next minute, things are kind of starting to spiral downward. And then the next minute, everything is completely spun out of control. With that being said, I don't know how our main character is still alive, but he's alive. And let's get right into this review, because there's so much stuff to talk about. I didn't have an intro this week, so there's no real things to go off of. I just put these 3 pictures up for y'all. I hope that's alright. But let's get right into this. They say you don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here. And no, I don't wanna be alone in the world out there. So our story starts off in Patria, I'm not really sure how it's said, but it's 100 years after immigrants settled here that a new energy source called somnium ore caused conflict. So there was this new ore that came out, and it caused conflict between the north and the south regions, and it split it up into a civil war. The northern city was an industry city, and the southern was a mining. So it was kind of like, you know, north versus south. Where have we seen that before? But it wasn't like that in the end here, because we find out that the shit's a war zone, and the south is in charge heavily because the north is completely outnumbered by people. And they really don't have a chance, and I thought this guy was our main character, but he's not, because it's this guy. A special unit walks in here, and he's just like, he just walks in so serene. He's just like, commence attack. And out of nowhere, we start seeing this dude with, like, this nerdy guy with glasses walk up. An older guy, not really too old, though. And then he just turns into a fucking dragon. Okay? Keep in mind, that's gonna play a huge part at the very, very end of this episode. Because next thing we cut into here is just them all transforming. And this looks sick as fuck, dude. It was at this point I was like, huh. You know, I'm not typically into this type of stuff, but that looks cool. Alright, so they pretty much destroy this city. And, you know, fearing defeat, the North used a secret technology that was forbidden to turn the tide, and they created these things, I guess using, like, I don't know what they used, but they never explained it. I'm sure we'll get it eventually, but they're called incarnates, and they're pretty much the gods of this world at this point, because they're just insane. But we find out later that it's not just the case, because, you know, there's something going on here. But this dude's name is Hank Henriette, Special Sergeant Major, and he cares about people's lives. He cares about innocent people. We find that out here when he's talking to the Major, and Kane is the guy in the left side on the back, and Hank is the front guy, like I said, and they go to visit their buddy Elaine, who we find out is not only kind of like the doctor of the group, she's also the one who created the incarnates, and there's a disease going around that's kind of slowly killing them, and she's been trying to figure it out ever since. But they've also been friends since childhood, so it's kind of like one of those things, like these 3 are kind of the main cast here. And Hank went running off because he got shy after him and Elaine kind of had a moment, and it's clear that he likes her, and, you know, Kane's like, I guess he's still just a snot-nosed brat.
But we find out that this is a pretty rowdy bunch. They're all walking up to him. They're like, so have you talked to Elaine yet? And what about Elaine? What about Elaine? You know, she might run away. If you wait too long, better shape up. The doctor might be waiting for you to approach her. And that's when the series kind of turns south, because we see them go through a bunch of, like, wars here, and they're just winning all of them. But then this character, his name's Abby, and in the previous picture, if you want to go back, he was the one with the mohawk. He starts killing everybody. And Hank runs up to him. They've already shot cannons and everything at him, and Hank runs up to him, and he's like, it's not me. It's not me. Please do something, Hank. You know, do something, Captain. And he kills himself here because he can't control himself. And that's when Hank gives a speech here that will play a huge role in this series. He says here, if one of us loses our, sanity, one of us will be the one to take us out. We can't put, other people at risk. This is our problem. And so they do a whole cutscene of more fights and them winning, and we find out that tomorrow they're storming the Capitol, and this is going to be their most intense fight ever. It doesn't go the way you would think, though. Morale is super low here, so Hank tells me, he's like, if we win tomorrow, I'm going to ask Elaine to be with me, and I need all of y'all here to celebrate. That's Captain's orders. And they're all like, we can't be dying now, and so morale goes up. But then Elaine and Hank go talk, and we find out that the country that was split is about to become one again. They've signed a ceasefire, and there won't be a battle tomorrow. And she tells him, there's no peace. There's no place for us in this time of peace, and she shoots him. She uses a bullet here that kind of paralyzes them, and she explains them like they slowly kill you without pain. So she tells him, every one of us are going to lose our soul, and we're not going to be able to be human anymore. Every last one of us, including you, Hank. So I don't know where that's going, but we find out that Kane was in on it, and they're going to head out and kill the entire squad here. So this was a huge what the fuck moment for me. I was like, they're going to kill the entire squad and then kill themselves. That's their plan here, because they don't want to lose themselves. But Kane shoots her. Like, immediately just caps her in front of Hank. And Hank is like, what the fuck? Because, he's still slowly slipping out of consciousness, but he's not dead. And he cuts there, and he wakes up, and they go, you've been in a coma for 2 months, man, you good? You good? And they start explaining everything that happened here, and he's like, where's Elaine? And they're like, yeah, well, she kind of went missing right after the fight, so that's why we were kind of wanting to know if you knew anything. And he's like, where's my squad? And they're like, well, they were disbanded, but now they're all causing problems because they're losing control of themselves. And, he goes, where's Kane? And he has a flashback of what Kane did, and he just punches the wall with a bloody fist, and he just screams, Kane. And I thought the episode was over here, but this sets up the objective of the entire series here. So we get the end scene here, which this was kind of the coolest thing. He closes this picture, and I thought it was just over and they were going to run the end credits and the stuff like that, but they didn't. They just had this on the screen as it was going. And Hank shows up, and he goes, he tells him, he's like, I've heard you've been going around killing your former comrades, Captain Hank. We can't have that. We were gods to these people, And he tells him, I came to fulfill our oath from that day, which was the oath that one of us will take one of us out, if so be it. And he ends up killing one of the characters. I'm not sure if they're going to show it next week, so I don't really want to give too much on that out, but the next episode is called The Dragon's Daughter, and I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say, from what they showed us, The Dragon's Daughter, which we did get to talk about a little bit, because, he was really proud of his daughter running the orphanage, but I think Hank's going to kill the character who turns into a dragon, and then his daughter is going to try to kill Hank, so I'm not sure. With that being said, though, I'm kind of excited and invested in this. For now, though, like I said, this could go one of two ways, but I hope it's good. But tell me what you all think in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm going to go ahead and head out on that note, so pease out.
Take a moment right here. feeling like it's out gear, driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear.